There's a moment almost every believer goes through, a moment when you pray and all you hear is silence. You worship, but your heart feels empty. You read your Bible, but nothing speaks to you. You look up at heaven and wonder, God, where are you? This is the story of a young woman named Leah, and the night she discovered why God sometimes feels silent, and why that silence can be the beginning of something deeper than she ever imagined. Leah had been walking with God for years. She loved praying, she loved worship, and she felt God's presence so easily that people often envied her faith. But one day, without warning, everything changed. She prayed, and she felt nothing. She worshiped and felt distant. She opened her Bible, and the words felt like dry ink on paper. Days turned into weeks, and the silence only grew louder. At first, Leah tried to push through it. She played worship music louder. She prayed longer. She tried to force tears, force emotions, force a connection. But the more she tried, the more empty she felt. One night, completely defeated, she sat on the floor of her room with her head in her hands and whispered, God, why can't I feel you anymore? What did I do wrong? No answer. The silence hurt more than anything she had ever experienced spiritually. It felt like being abandoned, like being forgotten, like talking to a locked door. But the hidden truth was this: God hadn't abandoned her. He was about to teach her something she had never learned before. Days later, Leah visited an older woman from her church, someone known for deep wisdom and a quiet spirit. The moment Leah walked into her small living room, tears streamed down her face. I don't understand, Leah said. God used to feel so close. Now I pray, and he's just silent. The older woman didn't scold her, didn't say she lacked faith. Instead, she smiled gently and asked, Tell me something, Leah. When a teacher is giving a test, does the teacher talk? Leah froze. The woman continued, Sometimes God's silence isn't absence. It's growth. When you no longer feel him the same way, it might be because he's teaching you to walk by faith, not feelings. Those words shocked Leah. For so long, she relied on the feeling of God's presence. She believed if she didn't feel something, then something was wrong. But for the first time, she wondered if maybe God trusted her enough to let her walk without constant emotional reassurance. On her way home, she thought deeply. Could it be that the silence had a purpose? That night, Leah sat in her room again, but this time she didn't try to force anything. She didn't beg God to speak. She simply sat in stillness and whispered, God, if you're silent, then teach me to trust you anyway. And in that quiet moment, something shifted. The silence was still there, but it no longer felt empty. It felt intentional, almost like a teacher watching a student take their first steps alone. As days passed, Leah discovered something powerful. God sometimes allows silence to grow your maturity. If you always rely on emotion, you stay a spiritual child. But when you learn to trust him even when you cannot feel him, that's when you become strong. The silence didn't mean God left. It meant he was deepening her roots. And slowly, without her noticing it, peace began returning. Not the emotional rush she used to chase, but a deeper, steadier peace. The kind that doesn't depend on music, atmosphere, or mood. The kind that doesn't disappear on bad days. The kind that stays. One morning, as Leah read her Bible, something happened that hadn't happened in a long time. A verse seemed to glow on the page. It hit her heart with warmth, and she realized God wasn't silent anymore. He had been speaking all along, just in a different way. The breakthrough came not when God spoke again, but when Leah learned why he was quiet. Sometimes God is silent because he's teaching you to walk by trust, not emotion. Sometimes God is silent because he's preparing your heart for your next season. Sometimes God is silent because he's healing you in ways you can't see yet. And sometimes God is silent because the only way he can grow your spirit is to remove the noise around you. If you're going through that silence right now, don't panic. Don't assume God left. Don't think your faith is broken. He may be closer than you think, watching, guiding, strengthening you quietly. If this story touched your heart today, don't forget to subscribe for more messages that draw you closer to God. And tell me in the comments, have you ever gone through a season where God felt silent? Short captions you can use. God's silence is not his absence. When God is quiet, your spirit grows. The teacher is silent during the test. Trust him even when you can't feel him.